Well, scenes of utter devastation continue to stream out of parts of Greece. Thanks for getting on to the Friday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Very, very sad and serious situation around several portions of Greece due to record-breaking rainfall in the country in the last few days, thanks to a Medicaid that produced epic amounts of rainfall in excess of 700 millimeters of rain within a 24-hour period. And we will talk more about this in the upcoming Global Weather and Climate Report this Sunday. At the same time, we have seen a new all-time record for September recorded in Northern Ireland. Castledirk reached 28.0 Celsius this afternoon, breaking the previous Northern Ireland record set in Armagh, I believe, of 27.8 Celsius. I can't remember what year that was. I think it might have been 1906 or 1911. But very significant amounts of heat across the board. And it looks as if for today it was the day number 5 of 30 Celsius or higher recorded somewhere in the British Isles, Cavendish and Suffolk reaching 30.9 Celsius. It looks as if we ramp things up a little bit further over southeastern portions of England during the course of tomorrow, while we start to see the demise of the heat wave across the northwest of the British Isles, thanks to an approaching weather front from the northwest. But you can see here, this is the current temperatures as of 5 past 5 in the evening. We've got the upper 20s, low 30s in parts of the Midlands and down into the southeast of England. But we also seen temperatures as high as at least 28, possibly at 29 in parts of northern Scotland this afternoon. But like I said, and I touched on yesterday's video, a little bit of perspective. Yeah, we've seen a provisionally a new Northern Ireland record for the month of September. We're right up there, I think, with the Republic of Ireland. We've got a current 28 Celsius in the Midlands of Ireland, as you can see here off this chart. And but yes, 1906, 1911 seen, and even 2016 seen hotter temperatures for the month of September. But I must admit, I didn't expect to see temperatures this high, this widespread across the board during the month of September. And of course, when you factor in the fact that the month is got off to probably a record-breaking warm start for the month of September for the British Isles and probably Ireland as well. For the first week, it has been very, very warm indeed. And even with a drop-off in temperatures during the second half of the month, I think it's going to be hard to get anywhere close to average for the month of September. It would have to be a particularly noteworthy cold second half of September to bring down that average temperature overall. So the GFS and SOM, as you can see here for London, showing the 850s and the means dropping from that 20 Celsius at 850 down to average by the time we reach the 14th. And it looks as if it kind of hovers at or slightly above average through the period of the 22nd of September here. Looking at the CFSV2 weeklies here, you can see here what it's showing. If I get to the right chart, it will help. You can see here the upcoming 7-day period. We've got that big area of high pressure. Of course, I also touched on a little bit of atmospheric physics. We increase the depth of the column through the atmosphere with the stronger the area of high pressure, especially a hot dome that is, you increase the level of sinking through the column, and of course the molecules move all the more faster as that sinking motion takes place. It's like I used the terminology of pumping up a bicycle tire. It's the same idea. It heats up as it compresses, and as you're forcing the air to sink from a much greater altitude within the atmosphere, you're increasing the level of surface heating, and that is exactly what we're seeing. But we have that added boost. The core of the high centered over Europe means that we've got that southerly airflow, which is kind of boosting the level of warmth that we typically would see with an area of high pressure centered directly overhead. I believe there was parts of the Alps, by the way, for 4 consecutive days, the freeze level was up to nearly 16,500 feet. So this is testament to what I'm talking about. The depth of the troposphere is exceptional for this latitude and this time of the year over the continent here. So a very, very impressive, very noteworthy heat wave we have got in place at the moment. But like I say, we do have the end game coming up. But of course, with this Omega block type pattern, we have got devastating flooding. We've seen it in Madrid last weekend. We've seen it over the last few days over Greece, thanks to areas of low pressure, cut off areas of low pressure either side of that Omega block that produce, and of course, with when they're stuck in place, feeding off 26 to 28 Celsius waters of the Mediterranean, you've got a tremendous amount of warmth and energy getting lifted, propelled up in through the atmosphere. And when that system has nowhere to go, it just continuously rains. And that is exactly what we've seen. The rainfall rates have been remarkable, of course, over the over the last few days in Greece here. We'll look at the video. This was captured actually by my wife Lindsay last night, and this was the rainfall that we had here at Marfogan HQ last night.
Sale is now on.
And you can see here the tremendous amounts of rain. It's hard to capture this video actually, but this is taken from the conservatory just here at the back of the house. And at one point, you can see the flashes of lightning. At one point, the rainfall rate was 41 millimeters per hour. Now, since I've had the weather station, and it's been live since the 8th of January, the highest rainfall rate I've recorded on that station is 23 millimeters per hour. So 41 millimeters per hour rainfall rate was very impressive. And I think we had about 4 or 5 mil within a 5-minute period here. So very significant amounts of rainfall. Of course, as the Met Office highlighted, these are high-based clouds, and therefore a lot of the rain that comes out of some of these showers that are detected on radar don't actually make it to the surface, due to the fact that we've got a column of dry air in between the actual top. To the Thursday edition. Sorry about that. So we've got that layer of dry air. So of course you get that verga, you get that evaporation through the column of the rainfall as it goes from cloud to the surface here. So let's have a look at the breakdown taking place as we press through the upcoming weekend here. Back to average temperatures late weekend and particularly into next week. It looks as if we could have that 30 stretch, by the way, all the way to Sunday, possibly even Monday. Remarkable. We could see 7-8 days in a row of temperatures in excess of the 30 Celsius level here. Here at the house, 28.1 Celsius was recorded, the warmest day of the entire year, and I find that quite mind-boggling actually, because I just did not expect temperatures to get this high. But you notice here this little frontal system approaching from the west northwest as we go towards the early portion of tomorrow morning. Notice here that the heights are coming down, and therefore the atmosphere becomes a little bit more destabilized. And then we're keeping our eyes on this feature here. There's an area of low pressure over Biscay that is bringing some instability into the atmosphere as well. But you notice here that as we press through the course of tomorrow, particularly so the northern half of England, Wales, Ireland and Scotland, we've got showers and thunderstorms breaking out. It could see some very significant amounts of rainfall within the situation tomorrow afternoon as we start to destabilize this atmosphere. We've got a tremendous amount of warmth and humidity for the atmosphere to tap. So we see the gradual breakdown. Notice England and Wales, the majority stays dry, stays warm, but then eventually that frontal system will edge its way further south and east. Notice here we've got an area of low pressure that develops along that frontal system, and we could see some very significant rain. But this is Tuesday, by the way. This is off the GFS. Notice Tuesday we don't have much activity over the bulk of England and Wales. It's really a case of a change in wind direction. Rather than being from a south-southeast direction, we have a more northwesterly direction. And if you look at the 850 temperatures, you can see here how we start to cool the atmosphere over the British Isles here. Back to the here and now, we've got plenty of warm air over the UK, and then we've got an injection of even warmer air into tomorrow across the southeast here. And then notice here that the temperatures are trimming back. This is of course at 5,000 feet. Temperatures are starting to trim back over the northwest of the UK and Ireland here during the early portion of next week. But we cling on to that warmth in the southeast, so we may still see temperatures 30 to 32 Celsius. Be interesting to see if we can get anywhere close to the 34.4 that was recorded back in September of 2016. We'll see that. But I will round up. I'm going to try and get a video done tomorrow. I typically have Saturday off, but I'm going to try and do a video tomorrow looking a little bit more at the statistics, how hot today has been versus history, versus time gone by, and also, of course, the global weather report. A lot of flood events taking place around the world at the moment. Typhoons hitting Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Hong Kong. Massive flood events taking place here. We've had it in Taiwan. We've also, of course, got parts of Europe, parts of South America, tremendous flooding situation in parts of Brazil in recent times. So we've got a lot of extreme weather at the moment here, a lot of extremes generally speaking. And yeah, I know climate change is going to be attributed to this. And, everybody's open to their own opinion with regards to what's going on at the moment. But an extreme and wild pattern is in play at the moment. There's no question about that. There's no getting away from that. And I will endeavour on Sunday to take a closer look at the extremes that have been taking place around the world. How warm on per average has the opening week of September been, not just across Europe, but across the world as well. And we'll look at a lot of different aspects. El Nino sea surface temperature profile at the moment. And indeed, into the early portion of next week, we'll talk more a little bit about winter and some of the long-range models suggesting that we've got quite a blocky and even potentially a cold situation developing. But very warm Septembers don't bode well for the following winter, and we certainly have got off to an incredibly warm start this time around. So we'll look at there's a lot of things to look at. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and of course share with your friends and family as well. So I will be back tomorrow, hopefully, and also the global weather report looking at the extremes around the world this upcoming Sunday, so stay tuned for that. Stay cool, stay safe, and I'll see you again hopefully tomorrow with more. Bye for now.